welcome back to my channel. So today I want to do a review of my medium Chanel classic flap and my medium Chanel boy, and I'm going to do a little side-by-side comparison, a little bit of a review, how it's holding up, and I want to tell you guys my story with Chanel and my experience there and why I don't really plan on adding another Chanel handbag. So if you're interested in all that, then stay tuned. So both of these bags measure about 25 centimeters by 15 centimeters for the width and the length. But in terms of the depth, the medium classic flap is a little bit shallower. So this is about, I think, 6 centimeters, whereas the boy is about 9 centimeters. So comparing it side by side, you can see how there's a lot more storage space in the Chanel boy for sure. So I'll just do a side by side comparison here. And then the back. Okay, so I have a side-by-side comparison of me wearing both bags. You can see that when the straps are doubled up, the Chanel boy drops lower than the classic flap. As a single chain, the boy is way too long, whereas the classic flap is proportional. Lastly, as a crossbody, the boy hits at the perfect spot, whereas the classic flap is way too high up and end up under your bust. And then for the Chanel classic flap, so the way you open it, of course, is the turn lock. And then you would just open it like this, and there is the double flap, which I don't really see the need for the double flap. It's supposed to hold the shape a lot better, but I just feel like it takes up so much of the space, and there's not really a lot of storage space inside of this bag. So I'll take this out for you guys, and that's what it looks like on the inside. And then in comparison, for the Chanel boy, so you just open it by squeezing the turn clasp like this, and then the flap would pop open, and you can see that the storage is a lot bigger in this one. Alright, so let's start with the medium classic flap. So I have my box Calvi, which fits easily. However, if you do carry a compact wallet, it will take up half of the internal compartment. And my LV 4-key pouch. But here is the iPhone XS that I stole from my husband, and it's got a pretty bulky case. All that fits no problem. I can also fit a lipstick, or even 4 if you really want to. And a Chanel hand cream. I tried doing a compact as well, but I don't think that's gonna fit. And everything closes fine. Okay, now moving on to the Chanel boy, you can fit anything you want in here. Your problems, your worries, your tears over how much these bags cost. But yes, let's go back to the Calvi. The LV key pouch. Of course, your phone. A lipstick or 2. A mirror or a compact. Hand cream, and you probably have room for a lot of other things as well. So my Chanel medium boy is in the champagne gold hardware and this beautiful purple fuchsia color, and this is in the calfskin leather, which is a little bit more scratch resistant. And as for my medium Chanel classic flap, this is in, of course, the caviar leather in the gold hardware. So of course, both of these bags are in the Chanel classic lines. I know recent years the Chanel boy has gotten a little bit less popular, but I really like this bag in terms of function a lot more than my classic flap, and I use this bag a lot more just because it can store a lot of stuff. But this bag is just so easy because of the crossbody, which just hits perfectly, whereas the classic flap, the crossbody does hit a little bit high, so it's a little bit hard to get in and out of the crossbody position. And this bag is just so easy to use. You can fit so much, and it's a single compartment, which is always nice. I hate it when there's like a middle compartment in the middle, which just really restricts the space. And I'll show you guys kind of the condition that the bag is in. So I've had this bag for about maybe 2 years now, and it's in the calfskin leather, so you can really see that there's really not much wear and tear. I don't really see any scratches. The bottom still looks great. I do take care of my bags though, but I have used this a lot more than the Chanel classic bag, and it's just still holding up really, really well. The only thing is that the medium Chanel boy, or the Chanel boy that I have, sometimes this bottom of this flap doesn't line up properly with the actual base of the bag. So you kind of have some wiggle room here in terms of, you know, how this bag closes. That's one thing that bothered me initially, and I was, you know, wondering if I should buy it, but I think it's okay. It's not that noticeable. I don't know if this is a thing with all Chanel boys or just with this bag, but I mean, this color, I fell in love with this color. I knew that I didn't want to buy another Chanel classic flap, so that's why I opted for this Chanel boy, and I also love the champagne gold hardware too. And then let me show you my medium classic flap and how it's holding up. So I haven't really used this as much. I've had this since 2018, and you can see there's not a lot of wear and tear either, which I didn't expect there to be. Because it's caviar leather, I really hope not. So it's pretty much in perfect condition. So for this bag, I kind of wish I got the small size instead of the medium size, because I feel like the small and the medium sizes aren't that different in the actual size, but the small makes it a little bit cuter, a little bit more proportional, and of course it's a lot cheaper. And I wish I also got this handbag in a lambskin leather instead of the caviar. I just feel like the lambskin is a lot more luxurious, a lot more quintessential Chanel. That I know that the lambskin leather is a lot more delicate compared to the caviar. The caviar is definitely more of a workhorse bag. You know, you can use it more every day, and it holds up a lot better to scratches and water, whereas the lambskin is of course more delicate. Another issue with lambskin is they're prone to color transfer, but in the black color, I don't really see that as much of an issue. Another thing with caviar versus lambskin is that lambskin tends to look a lot more dressy, of course. It's very shiny, whereas the caviar is a little bit more matte. It's a little bit more toned down, so definitely can be dressed down and be more casual as well. So it depends on, you know, when you intend to wear the bag and how often you intend to wear the bag if you want to decide between lambskin and caviar. So I don't really regret buying this bag in the pink purple color because I feel like the color is just really unique, and I think this is from the Cruise collection. I know that you see the black Chanel boys everywhere, so I'm glad to have something that's a little bit more unique. In terms of whether I would buy these bags in store now, I would probably say no, because the price increases are kind of crazy. I know when I bought this bag in 2018, I bought it for 5,000 USD, and I know now it's about like 8,800 USD. So it went up, I think, 70% since the time that I bought it. So in terms of whether it's a good investment, I would say so. But now it's just gotten too crazy that it's just too expensive to buy in stores. I also like the look of Chanel bags that not everybody has. So for example, some vintage Chanel bags in lambskin, I think that appeals to me a lot more, especially because the price is a lot cheaper and probably the quality is better too, because I know the vintage Chanels, the gold used to be 24 karat gold. So, you know, now it just feels like the quality has deteriorated quite a bit. When I went shopping for the Chanel boy bag, I was looking at the beige clear Chanel classic flaps in Canada, and the ones that they showed me, the flaps were completely crooked. The leather just looked really dull. It almost looked fake. And it just wasn't, the quality is just not up to par. I don't know what it is like now, but unless Chanel improves their quality or improves their post care, then I don't really see myself wanting to spend almost the same price as Hermes to buy a Chanel bag. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about my experience at Chanel. So like I said, I purchased this bag back in 2018 when I was still living in California. So I purchased, not this bag, but I purchased my first Chanel black medium classic flap at the Neiman Marcus. I think it was in Palo Alto. So I know even back then there was a wait list to get one of these classic bags, and I went into the store and they happened to have one available. So I actually purchased it. It was 5,000 USD, went home really happy. I'll insert a picture of what that bag looked like. That bag was, for some reason, it just felt like it was a lot longer and the proportions didn't seem right. It felt kind of like a baguette bag. It was a lot longer and a lot shorter for some reason, and the caviar was also really dull and it wasn't as puffy. But what did I know? It was my first Chanel bag, right? So I was very excited, and then I didn't even wear it that much. I think I wore it once, and then I noticed that if you take a look here at the leather strap, so there's actually like a raw edge. So that little raw edge started to fray. So there were little threads of the leather just coming out, and it was just looking really, really messy. I went to the Chanel store in Neiman Marcus and I told them, and they said, oh, there's really not much we can do. You can try going to the Chanel store in San Francisco. So then I went to the Chanel in San Francisco near Union Square, and then they looked at the bag and they said, you know, we can send it in for repair, but it's gonna be a couple months before you can get it back. So I said, sure, that's fine. So then they sent it off to Paris for repair. I waited a couple months. I don't remember how long now, but it did feel like quite a while. And then when they called me to come back in the store to collect the bag, I took a look at the bag, and I think they changed out the entire strap, and the strap was even worse. So they put in some sort of leather that was still frayed. I can still see the frayed edges, and the leather just looked even worse than the one I had. So I was really upset. So then luckily the store manager said, we can try to exchange it then, because the other alternative is to send it back to Paris again, but who knows if that's gonna come back any better. So then she was kind enough to actually offer me a exchange, even though I bought it at Neiman Marcus. So she did show me this bag, which I assessed it and it looked a lot better. It seems a lot more proportional, and the Caviar definitely seemed a lot nicer than the batch that I bought at Neiman. So I think the Caviar leather and just the leather in general changes every year, every season, every batch, I guess, is not very consistent. And you definitely have to buy these bags in store. I would want to take a good look at all the bags, because there's a lot of floss, there's a lot of crooked flaps, and the leather, you just really have to go see it yourself to see if you like that batch, because it's really a hit or miss. So I like this bag. I took it home. That was it with this bag, and the leather strap has been okay on this bag so far. It hasn't frayed as much, I think, because the raw edge is a lot thinner. The one that I had from Neiman was a lot thicker, so it frayed really easily. So overall, pretty okay with this bag, except now the flap, I still do see it as a little bit crooked.
Do you guys see it? It just bothers the heck out of me every time I'm wearing the bag. Maybe that's why I don't love it as much as I should.
Because of going through all that for a supposed brand new bag was just not a great experience, and that was my first experience into Chanel, so that's why it kind of turned me off the brand. And I just feel like there's just too many quality issues. If you can't even buy a bag brand new and expect it to be in good quality, then why are you shelving out $10,000, right? They are definitely very classic, very beautiful, but I just don't think that they're worth the price right now. Alright guys, so that's it for my review of these bags. Let me know if you feel the same. If you disagree, leave it in the comment section down below. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!